guys, welcome back to another interview here on Toned In Entertainment. Today we're at Generation Championship Wrestling in Sanford, Florida, and I'm here with the back-breaking artist, Jake Painter.
That's me.
That is you.
Yeah, that is me in the flesh at GCW in Florida, outside of Chicago. Who would have thought?
Hey, how's the weather down here compared to Chicago?
It was snowing when we left, and it's snowing. I think it's snowing as of yesterday or right now. So I am very happy to be in 80-degree weather here in Florida.
That's
especially,
right.
And I wouldn't be with any other promotion, or rather be with any other promotion than Generation Championship Wrestling. So just really happy to be here and really happy to, get the show rolling and be down here in the nice warm weather.
Can I ask you, what makes back-breaking an artistry?
Honestly, so the biggest thing, growing up, watching wrestling, my two biggest inspirations, when it came to WWE was Edge. I was a big Edge guy. And you'll see it like with my gear and, how I'm going to present myself moving forward. Just a huge inspiration to me. With my last name being Painter, I always said every painter needs inspiration, And the independent guy that I watched growing up, Mr. ROH himself, Roddy Strong, the Messiah, the backbreaker. So like I always tell everybody, every artist needs an inspiration. And Roddy was my inspiration, growing up. I don't want to sound like a little mark, but, the backbreakers and just, things that, that I can do, in the ring that are, unique. Roddy's, you're not seeing anybody doing backbreakers like that. Roddy is that guy. He kind of made it big. I'm just trying to carry it on, The backbreaker is like one of the oldest moves in pro wrestling. So be able to carry that move on and just show different variations of it and show how I can paint the canvas out there. That's it's a big thing for me. So it's a huge reason why I implement it into my moveset, why I implement it into my character. So like I said, hopefully you'll be seeing the backbreaking artists a lot around here soon.
So just having the last name Painter is just an
it's easy.
way.
Of course, very easy, very easy. I'm gonna move the mask. It's gonna be so much easier to talk with the mask. It's just us over here, so we're okay.
Well, everybody's been tested here.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all safe.
Yeah,
so we're good. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, having the last name Painter, it makes, like I said, it made coming up in wrestling easy. At first I was kind of going away from the name because growing up, I was always called Painter. I was never called Jake. So I was trying to stay away from it when I first got out there. But coming out, getting the bigger name, talking to more veterans, it's a name, it's a unique name. You don't see a Jake Painter. So when they look you up, you're gonna see Jake Painter. So I learned that early on, and I made the correction early, and I've just kind of ran with it. And it just works. It helps me a lot. Helps me get my name out there easier. So it's awesome. I can't complain.
It's definitely an easy name to remember.
Oh, of course.
Now, speaking of, you said you wouldn't be down here with any other promotion than Generation Championship Wrestling. We're here in March.
Of course.
But you're going to be back down here in April.
Yes, during WrestleMania week as well. Yes.
Like 3 weeks from now, I'm going to be seeing you again.
I will be in the Best in Class bright and early at 10 a.m. You can catch me, okay? As of right now, I believe my opponent is JC Vega. Mr. Vega, you've been talking a lot on Facebook about me and my girlfriend, Skye Blue. But I will tell you this, buddy. Come WrestleMania time, like I said, once I take care of business tonight, you're next to my agenda, okay? So once that comes around, don't worry, brother. I'll have you taken care of.
You can mess with the man, but don't mess with the man's woman.
Exactly. Don't mess with an artist woman who... The artist, of course, likes to break backs, so I'd be a little careful if I were him. But like I said, I have much bigger problems tonight than Mr. Vega to worry about at the moment.
You do. I've seen your opponent walking around.
Oh yeah, Mr. King, man, Mr. King. As much as I used to love Mr. King, I don't know what happened. He went through some psychological stuff, and at first I felt bad. I was reaching out, no messages back. And like recently it's just been, he's been cutting, different promos left and right. He's been kind of putting stuff out there about Skye. It's been kind of a little weird, a little crazy, Hey Gomez, what's going on? Oh, my feelings.
We've always got distractions here at Generation Championship Wrestling.
No. Oh, and uh-oh.
See, they're already stirring up trouble behind the scenes.
Already stirring up problems. Gomez and King stirring it up already.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay as far away from him as I can back here. But no, like I said, Mr. King, like I said, we used to talk. I used to go to him for advice a lot. Like I said, over the last couple months, he's kind of, I don't know what was going on with him. He's kind of losing himself, calling me out, calling out Skye Blue. So hopefully tonight we can take care of business and kind of, halt all that. That's what I kind of noticed here in GCW. Being associated with Skye Blue, there's been kind of, some people are out to get you. It's almost like you have a title. So like I said, we'll take care of business. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm not too worried about it either. I've seen you in action before. I'm ready to see you tonight here.
Awesome. Very
again.
excited. Very excited.
It's always a good time here at Generation Championship Wrestling.
Always. Never. I can never complain. You know, it's like I said, the coming down to Florida from Chicago, I will say like the Florida scene is it's a lot different. It's a breath of fresh air. Like Skye and I, we travel together, obviously. So just like being able to get out of and like I said, there's nothing wrong with Chicago. I've lived there my whole life. You know, it's just like different people, different atmosphere, different weather. You know, different workers, different walks of life. You learn a lot coming down here. You know, in leaving your nest. So like I said, any advice to any workers that are watching this, younger workers that haven't gotten out of their area yet, do it. It is the best decision you'll ever make when it comes to the wrestling industry. Get out and just express yourself and show yourself off. And do as much as you can behind the scenes, because the more work you put in, the more you get out. And that's how like I said, I've noticed it works in the business industry. It works all around, and especially in the wrestling industry. So like I said, the more you put in, the more you get out. Keep it going.
I mean, that's the best advice
the best you can give
for anything,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So that's why I try to live by that. Like I said, if you keep, like I said, putting yourself out there, keep putting the work in, do as much as you can for those promoters. You know what I mean? It's gonna pay off for you big time. It's gonna pay off in huge ways. Whether it's holding the camera, helping with the ring beforehand, whatever you can do. Like I said, I don't want to leak too much behind the scenes, but you know how it goes. There's a lot that goes into putting a wrestling show on, and there's a lot of hands that need to be on deck for that to happen. So that's just my one thing, my one key of advice. I'm still green. I'm still young. I'm very new. I'm a year in. So I mean, that's out of everything I've learned, that's the number one thing. Like I said, it's just what you put in is what you're gonna get back. And whether it's life, wrestling, everything all around. So.
And I could testify to that, because when I walked in, you were putting together the ring when I walked in.
Oh yeah, like I said, that's literally like I dropped my bag and I went right to putting the ring up. That's just like what I do. It's every show. If it's already up, then I get in and I'm testing it personally. I'm running the ropes. I'm checking the turnbuckles. I'm bumping to see how it feels. It's it all goes hand in hand, man. It all goes hand in hand. So, but yeah.
Now, you said your biggest inspiration was Edge?
Edge, yeah. Like I said, that was kind of give you a little backstory on me. Okay, so about a little over a year ago, I started my journey. There's a couple schools out in Chicago. I visited a couple. I wanted to try a couple out. I finally found my home in Chicago style wrestling. Okay, my parents, were getting ready to move out of state. So I was kind of helping them out, and I was still recovering from some shoulder problems I experienced in college. I played college football. Okay. So pretty much the gist of everything was, it was a time thing. It was a restricted thing. I didn't know if I wanted to, fully commit to wrestling yet. Okay. Edge being like my role model growing up, being the reason why I watched wrestling as a kid, part of where I got my confidence from, like growing up. His comeback was probably the biggest wrestling moment of my entire life. Like I said, that Royal Rumble moment, I don't think anybody will ever forget it at this point. But that was the day, if something gives you goosebumps and you get that excited, like my girlfriend, she has videos of me from that day, just jumping up and down like I was a kid, like a little kid again. If something makes you feel that alive and gives you, like I said, gives you those goosebumps, and if you can't go to a show without getting goosebumps, and things like that, you need to at least try it. You're failing yourself if you're not going to go try it. So, I was like, what? I got to do it, and I never expected, to be where I am this fast, because you hear, wrestling's all about years. Wrestling's all about putting years on, and I'm very thankful and very appreciative of the opportunities that I've gotten just a year in the business, so, like I said, Edge was huge. Without, like I said, I met him when I was 12 years old, like right after the whole injury happened, I read his autobiography, like the whole thing, whole huge Edge head, as they would call him. But yeah, without him and everything he's done and how his journey's been, there would be nothing. There wouldn't be the backbreaking artists. There wouldn't be Jake Painter. I would just be, a guy from Chicago. It wouldn't be anything. So if you're watching, thank you. It's all to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And not to be confused with Edge Stone. By the way, who was around.
The Rated R Superstar. The Rated R Superstar.
There you go. Yes. But yeah.
Now, speaking of Edge, I recently came across a movie that he did on Tubi.
Yep.
Yeah, on WWE Films. Have you seen that movie?
Recently,
it's like
yes, it literally just came out. Like I think he was recovering from his tricep injury when it came out. I haven't been able to watch it yet. I know I sound like a really bad Edge head, but obviously, like everybody knows with us traveling all the time, I should just download it on my phone and watch it at this point because
it's free with limited commercials on Tubi right now.
There we go. Exact free advertisement. There you go.
Yeah.
No, but no, he's like I said. The first time I saw him acting was in the Highlander 2, actually.
Okay.
And then that's my favorite Highlander related film because he's in it.
Okay.
I've seen him do some work in Vikings, and I saw him do some work on Sci-Fi, obviously after he retired. So I've always followed him, after. But yeah, like I said, the guy's always killed it on the mic. So the acting career would have obviously transitioned over at some point. But yeah, like I said, seriously, without him, there's no me, and I'm not here where I am today because he was the inspiration. He was literally like my biggest role model growing. He was a heel, right? Super funny, but I didn't get like my sense of humor and like my my confidence, my ego, like all that stuff. Like it really does come from him. Like without him, I wouldn't have this. So it's like very appreciative. Very, like I said, it almost feels like a dream. Everything still, it's like it really doesn't hit you yet until like you're out there and you're like, oh wow, this is me. I'm out here now. So. Yeah, like I said, just to recap it all again, without him, man, there would not be me. So,
thank you, Edge. Thank you, Edge.
Thank you. Of course.
Now, when you're not wrestling, what are some of the things you like to do in your free time?
Awesome. Yes. So I'm huge on giving back as much as possible. Okay. So obviously, like you said, if you're not wrestling, I feel like I'm always wrestling. So if I'm not personally training, I try to give back to like the guys that are at the school as much as possible. Because like I said, I picked this up pretty quick. I got a pretty good grasp on it. And I'm still close to like that level, that first walk through the door level. I can still remember. It's only been like a year. A little over a year for me now. So I can still like relate to them, the newer guys that walk in the door when they're confused about something, they don't see something. Like my trainer Steve Boz, has been in the industry 30 years now. The biggest thing with him is that sometimes he's looking to he's going advanced, and some of the greener guys, the newer guys in the school, will be like, hey, we were doing this, but before we got to that, the smaller things, I'm very detail oriented, so I like to go back, I like to look at the details. Outside of wrestling, I am a district manager for Best Buy with the recovery devices, so I like to use like hybrid volts and Theraguns and things like that. I will tell you guys, that is the biggest lifesaver. If you see one, spend the money on it, and it is one of the best investments you'll ever make.
What exactly is it?
So there's a lot of different ones going around. Okay, the Hypervolt is a massage gun. I usually have one in my bag. I didn't want to bring it through TSA, so I left it.
Probably not a good idea.
Oh no, it'd been a whole process. So I
road trip down here, you bring it.
Yes. And, but yeah, so like I said, I usually have one on me. I could have showed you guys, but it's like a gun almost. It's a massage gun. Okay, and so if you have any areas of your body, us wrestlers were getting thrown around for a living. So I mean, I'm always sore. If I don't have it for my back or like my legs, I'm always breaking people over my legs. So I mean, I kind of need it on my quads sometimes. But in all seriousness, though, like seriously, life changer. If you're just someone that just works out and just has general soreness, these guns are like top of the line. Life-changing, for me personally. So like I said, I had shoulder surgery coming out of college, and one of the main things that held me back from wrestling sooner was, getting that shoulder surgery done and recovering fully and making sure I was all good. I noticed a jump in my recovery when I started using the gun.
Okay.
Like I noticed general improvement. So I mean, if you're like I said, you're out there, you work out. I'm always in the gym myself. If you work out, you do things like of that nature, and you're an active person, I'd highly recommend getting the gun. And like the joke with the massage guns are always like, oh, would my wife like this? Would my husband like? Yes, they would.
They would.
Yes, they would. So. But yeah, that's like I said, outside of work, I just try to give back as much as I can. I used to coach youth basketball all my life, so I'll go and revisit some of the teams and just work with them. Me and Skye get a lot of training, outside. Our trainers, our personal trainer's name is Doug Simmons. So Doug, if you're watching this, shout out to you, man. You are the best. You're the reason why I look so good in the ring. So thank you. Like I said, without that guy, none of this happened. Still, like I said, none of this happened. So, like I said, I've kind of made my life around, like in the last year, kind of changed it up a lot, revolved around wrestling. And then I hang out with my husky. I have a husky named Finn at home. He is my world. He's like my best friend. I saved him from a home that wasn't taking care of him too well during the pandemic this year. And like I said, he's literally my best friend now. Like I said, you guys probably saw him in my promo that I cut on Mr. King.
I did see the dog being walked in the background during your promo.
I will always try to include him when he is willing to work with me, because sometimes he don't want to work with me. So, whoa!
It's just crazy. craziness in here.
Oh
My
my gosh.
golly. My golly, we need Jim Ross in here calling the action right now.
Queen Aminata and the tribe going at it over here.
We got Queen Aminata, we got Jake St. Patrick over here.
Oh my goodness. Sage Scott, everybody.
It's
oh
out
my
of
goodness.
control.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy.
Oh man.
We're giving away the secrets.
We are giving away all the secrets.
It's out of control back here. It's out of control.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh my
God,
goodness.
I mean, we're trying to do a nice, peaceful interview.
Hey, you know what? And look, and we got, all right, Jake St. Patrick holding Sage Scott back now. Queen Aminata finally being held back.
We're just going to start doing play-by-play for you guys. What's going on in the background.
Oh, my goodness.
She's down for the count.
My God. 24/7 title on the line. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. No,
our truth is just going to come right here.
Oh, we got to run. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, like I said, in my downtime when I'm away from wrestling, I try to spend as much time with him as I can. Like I said, get my workouts in. I work. Unlike contrary to popular belief, wrestlers do have to work. Like go to work when we're not wrestling. So like I said, I do the Best Buy job. I help out at my local gym a lot too. So I get some extra hours over there. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty basic, pretty smooth. And like I said, I really enjoy my downtime with Skye when we're just kind of just relaxing. So try to, when we're not wrestling, we're not on the road, take it easy as much as I can. But
what position did you play in football?
So I played inside linebacker.
Okay.
Like I said, I was when I was in high school, I was a lot more of a beast. When I went on, I went to play at North Central College out in Naperville, Illinois. They actually just won. Most recently, when they were able to play, they won the national championship. So shout out to my boys that were still on the team there. I blew my shoulder out through my sophomore year over there. So I had surgery done, tried to make a comeback. I had some nerve damage, long story short. Regenerated my nerves, got cleared by the doctor to make the comeback. And come back in general, just doing general activities. Once I felt like getting my strength back and all that, that's when the wrestling journey ultimately started for me. But yeah, so like I said, inside, like I said, all area, all conference linebacker in high school. Like I said, got recruited, did the whole process. You know how it goes. Like I said, it was fun. I had a great, like I said, football was my escape from life. And I always planned on kind of doing like the wrestling into football thing, or football into wrestling thing. And like I said, that was like, it didn't work. Nothing works out how it's planned. That's just the way life works. So I've noticed the older you get, the more you realize, the more you plan, it's almost a waste of time planning, because the ball's going to be, you're going to get curveballs, you're going to get sliders, you're going to get everything. But yeah, like I said, the ultimate thing that I stopped playing football was just like, it's more of a time thing and a stress thing, and it's keeping my body upright. I've actually found it to be a lot more easier maintaining my body wrestling than I was when I was playing football. And I don't know if it was because, just the education that I have now of taking care of my body as opposed to when I was younger. But yeah, definitely, I don't think anything's made me feel more alive than wrestling has. So thank God. Thank God for pro wrestling, seriously. But yeah, that was like the reason why I stopped playing football was my shoulder, and I had, like I said, some nerve damage issues. And by that point, I had already finished up with school, so I didn't want to go back use eligibility for grad school or anything like that. So
now there's a lot of professional wrestling on television nowadays.
Of course, yeah.
So much. What would you say to people who just watch wrestling on TV who don't come to their local independent shows? What are they missing out on?
You're missing out on. Because obviously the last year there's been no crowds, right? The number one thing that I would say when it comes to independent wrestling compared to what you're seeing on TV, is the crowd working. The crowd interaction. You know what I mean? We are taught at the school level to work a crowd, to get the crowd involved as much as possible in all in everything that you do. You know what I mean? Because without the crowd, without them being there, what's the point of your show? What's the point of your match? Okay, you're there to get your company over. You're there to get you and your opponent. Obviously, they're trying to hash out your differences and whatever. But if you can get the crowd involved and the crowd behind you, any way you can, whether you're a good guy, you're the bad guy, whatever side they take, you know what I mean. That's an aspect of indie wrestling that's missed. You know what I mean. Indie wrestling is also just a lot more fun. You know what I mean. You get shorter term storylines. You know what I mean. You don't get nothing's really dragged out as much, and you kind of get what you want on the indie scenes. If fans want two independent wrestlers to work together, it's much easier to make it happen than if someone's on AEW and someone's on WWE and they're, obviously contract, you can't make that happen. You know what I mean? So that's also the benefit that you're missing out with independent wrestling, is that you get those dream matchups of those local people, and you're also missing the next generation of wrestling. Imagine just going to your local indie show and you're like, oh my God, I saw, the next Roman Reigns. I saw the next Seth Rollins. I saw the next Kenny Omega. And you can say that, you know what I mean? Which I'm sure, like, everybody in this room, all of us have went to indie shows before. Everybody that's, back here and working today, and we can all say that we know somebody that's on a roster somewhere. There's people that are on rosters that are in here right now. You know what I mean? And we saw them, through the independent scene, because that's where we all got to start. So that's probably the biggest thing, between, the TV working and, independent scenes. Go see the independent show. You know what I mean? So go, if you see the flyer, go check it out. It may not be as entertaining because you don't know the names, right? But you will get to know the names, because at some point those names, they got to end up on TV, or they won't. It's just the way, whatever way life works out for them. Like I said, you're missing out on the future of the industry is ultimately what it is, and what the next generation, what the next wave, and what the next style of wrestling is going to be. You know what I mean?
Now, while I will agree with you on one of the things that you said, you won't know the names. I think a lot of more independent shows are a lot more entertaining than what I see on TV, to be perfectly honest.
And you're seeing a lot of the same stuff over and over again on TV. And that's not knocking anything on TV, because they have their job's hard too, because they got to make everybody happy. They got to entertain the masses. We're entertaining just a small section of I'm just entertaining a small section of Florida and everybody on Title Match. Or if I'm up in Chicago, I'm just entertaining that, that Chicago style crowd, or I'm entertaining that lucha crowd. Our jobs get a lot easier at this level. So, we may, be able to accommodate to the to the people that we have in house that day. Okay, we don't have that pressure of, like I said, making the masses happy. So I think that's like a big thing. Like I said, is if you want more of like a personal entertainment, like I said, you want to be able to interact with workers. I know this is a big thing for fans. They like to interact with workers. So and at the independent shows, we love interacting with you. Please come. We have intermissions in the middle of shows so that we can interact with you. So please go to your independent show. Please go check it out, because you're going to see that next star, like the backbreaking artist Jake Painter, like Skye Blue, like rok-c, like Super Beast, like all the names you're going to see here today at Generation Championship Wrestling. Like I said, that next star can be at any independent promotion. So please go out and see them. I was talking to Gomez the other day, over 80 promotions in Florida. You can't tell me, and we're during the pandemic, we don't have something to do every night, people. So if you're a wrestling fan and you're watching this right now, find that independent show. Go to it. Support us, man. Like, we are going to work our asses off for you and for the people that are there, because that's what we're bred to do. That's what we're brought up to do. So.
Yeah, you've mentioned quite a few great names that are here tonight. Even like Jake St. Patrick is also here.
Jake St. Patrick in the house.
Yep. Fabu Andre.
Sage Scott also. Yep. Janai Kai, like, it's from the Chicagoland area too. Right. Genocide was also AEW Dark. Sage Scott, Remy Marcel. Like I said, a lot of big names back here, man. A lot of big names. And like I said, without shows like this, without independent scenes, you wouldn't even hear these names at all. And then we have, like I said, this is our platform. This is our Raw. This is our SmackDown. This is our NXT. You know what I mean? This is our AEW Dark. This is what we got right now. So we're going to do our best to put on a great show for you guys, and we're going to do our best to work our asses off for you.
And that's what you guys do.
Exactly. And that's all we can do, so.
Now, I've asked you quite a few questions, but I want to ask you the most important question that everybody wants to know.
Of course.
When you're finished with your match tonight.
Yes.
You've been eating healthy, I'm sure, all week.
Yes, as clean as possible.
What is your cheat meal going to be?
Okay, so if we were in Chicago, my go-to, after a long weekend of shows, my go-to cheat meal, and you can ask Skye, Lou Malnati's Pizza. It's a deep dish pizza in Chicago. Okay. Obviously, I'm in Florida. Not very, can't find the best pizza down here. But there's pizza. There's not, whatever.
There's good.
But since we are here, I will say all the guys in the locker room and have put me and Skye on to Wawa's. Let me tell you that there is something about Wawa's that just has my attention. And the last couple times I've been in Florida, I go as many times as I can. There's a chicken Philly at Wawa's. It's still kind of clean. It's not that bad for you. They're looking at the nutrition facts and everything. But I just like putting the whole sandwich down. That's like my go-to meal after I work in Florida. So tonight, when I'm done taking care of Mr. King, what I do after here is we're hitting the nearest Wawa's, and I'm going to get a sandwich made for myself. So, Wawa's. And by the way, no Wawa's in Chicago. That is why I can only get it when I'm here. So, probably a good little business opportunity maybe get at Wawa's up in Chicago. But yeah, that's definitely what I'll be having after my match tonight.
Okay, yeah, Wawa's was really in Central Florida for a while. I live down in Miami, so they finally started popping up there.
Yeah.
So we've got them down there now. Now, I've been to Chicago once. I went about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Pizza was the first thing that we had.
There you go.
But I find it interesting, like with hot dogs, they really despise you putting ketchup on hot dogs in Chicago.
No ketchup on hot dogs. They're actually, I don't know now because it's 2021 and like everybody gets like butthurt about everything. You know, that's just how it is now.
People are a lot more sensitive.
Exactly. That's the society we live in. But I knew when I was growing up. There's a great story. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and my dad and I were like kind of looking at just driving. We used to get my hair cut in the city. My dad grew up in downtown Chicago, like in the Chicagoland area, more towards the city. We would drive down and go get our haircuts, and I'd always see like the little hot dog stands in Chicago all over the place. And I was like, "Oh, Dad, like can we stop there and get a hot dog?" And he's like, "Well, you wouldn't be able to get a hot dog from there, Jake." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you like ketchup on there." Isn't if you asked for ketchup on a hot dog back in the day, they wouldn't serve you. They would ignore you. They'd be like, "Next customer." So I mean that's just like that's just how the the comedic, that's how comedy is in Chicago. It's very like I don't even know, it's passive aggressive comedy almost. So that's like the big thing with me. I'm kind of like a plain hot dog guy because like the game when we would play football games growing up like Little League. We would like wait till after and they give us hot dogs and then everything was already closed up and they were just plain hot dogs. So I'm just big like plain hot dogs, which I can eat throughout the week if I just really want to go to Portillo's or like a bigger place in Vienna, get a Vienna hot dog. I'll just eat it plain. I'm sorry, Chicago people, I probably sound terrible, but no, but I'm a plain hot dog eater. The less condiments, the less calories. It's especially like like I said, since I started wrestling, watching the calories and watching your macros and all things like that. Okay. Yeah, you gotta be careful. So like when I'm not, big food thing in Chicago, it's like if I'm not, when I'm dieting, the biggest thing is like I just give me grilled chicken and give me veggies. That's like my only thing. Like Chick-fil-A is like my bread and butter. They came out with like a spicy grilled chicken. It's like to die for. It's been my go-to lately. So.
Now the spicy chicken deluxe is my go-to. I have not tried the grilled though.
Spicy grilled chicken. It just came like last 2 weeks for me.
I saw it advertised, but I haven't tried it.
It's just been exclusively for the last 2 weeks for me personally, but it's amazing. Definitely must try, in my opinion. A must try. I get 2 of them every time. It's a must try.
Now, can I ask you? I want to ask you a sports question.
Okay, lay it on me.
Since you're from Chicago, I'm from Miami.
Okay.
In Miami, we like our Dolphins.
Yep.
We like our Heat.
Of course.
Some people like the Marlins and the Panthers and all that. In Chicago, it seems like when I was there, it is so die hard.
Yes.
For the Cubs.
Yes.
For the Bears.
Yes.
Like, have you been to a game? Like, what is the experience there?
Yes. So let me tell you, Wrigley Field. For the Cubs, I'm a huge Cubs fan. They just won the World Series back in 2016. I'll never forget that day. It's one of those days that, like, you remember when you first start wrestling, you remember your first match. The day the Cubs won the World Series, I was standing in the middle of the street in front of the marquee that says "Welcome to Wrigley Field," and you literally saw, like, it changed from, like, the score of the game to Cubs win, like, absolute mayhem. So, like, and I've been a Cubs fan since birth. A game at Wrigley Field is probably one of the most unique experiences of a baseball game you'll ever get because they're modern. They're making that area modern. Okay, so you're gonna get like that old Cub game feeling because Wrigley Field's actually only the second oldest field behind Fenway.
Boston. Right?
Boston, yeah. Okay. So with the renovations and stuff, you're still getting that old-fashioned baseball feeling while also getting the the newer feel of the ballpark because they're adding seats and adding more advertising and things like that. Big time too, like the Chicago Bulls are like legendary, obviously because of Michael Jordan.
How can I forget the Bulls?
So
right?
And the Blackhawks too, because they were winning during like my lifetime. Right. The Bulls and the Hawks are big by us. Like the Madhouse on Madison, the United Center is like a good place to catch any of those games. Personally, I can't relate. I am not a Bears fan. I am born and raised Dallas Cowboys fan from birth. So like my dad like tried to put an Aikman jersey on me like right away. Like as soon as, so I've always been like Tony Romo, Des Bryant, Zeke, Dak just got paid. We're all happy, all smiles about that. But like I said, the problem with the Bears, like I said, the fandom with the Bears is they haven't had a franchise quarterback. Yeah. They have not had a franchise quarterback, and they've been hurting one for a long time. So I think if they can pull off something for Deshaun or Russell or something this offseason, that'd be the best thing for their franchise. They might have to give up a lot, but I think with the what you're getting in return and how valuable those kind of quarterbacks are, I think it'd be good for the city. And I despise the White Sox. I think they're gonna be good this year. Just because they have young talent and they poached from a lot of teams and give up some of their older talent a couple years back. So they'll be good. They'll probably be just as good as the Cubs, but I'm really excited for the Cubs this year. I'm a huge Cubs fan.
Now, speaking of the Bears and franchise quarterbacks, I kind of have a bone to pick.
Of course.
The Chicago Bears, because Chicago Bears at one point thought Jay Cutler was going to be their franchise quarterback.
And he is the best franchise quarterback that they've had in their history.
Right.
Jim McMahon got him a Super Bowl. He got them to the NFC Championship game, but all in all, he's probably their best quarterback that they've had. You know what I mean?
Because the Dolphins signed Jay Cutler down here.
Oh God.
That was yeah.
That was the filler year.
He was.
Yeah.
I think he was just collecting a paycheck at that point.
Oh yeah. Whatever. I mean, he's doing that whole thing with his wife now, so it's
right. Yeah.
Whatever. They're on again, off again, on again, whatever. Yeah. So, but no, yeah. I hope the Bears make a move this offseason because they do need a franchise quarterback desperately. I think that is the only thing that team really needs because they franchise tagged Allen Robinson. Their defense is led by Khalil Mack, and so they're fine. They have all the defensive players they need. And they can run the football. David Montgomery is a solid running back. Like I said, I think if they just get the quarterback and they solve that problem, they'll be good.
And they're in a division that they can win because Green Bay's good, Minnesota's good. Detroit,
but they're beatable. They're beatable.
Right, correct.
Very beatable teams. Like I said, Detroit is going to totally change it. They're finally moving on from Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
The Vikings, you never know with the Vikings.
They're 50-50.
You never know because someday, and like I said, I'm a victim of this. I draft a lot of Vikings in fantasy. Okay. You know what I mean? So Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook had great fantasy years. But what's Kirk Cousins doing for that team? If you're not winning, you can put up 5. Jameis Winston proved it last year. You can throw 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, 5,000 yards, and still lose your job. And lose your job.
Talk about Jameis Winston.
Oh my gosh! And Mr. Gomez.
Dallas Cowboys loving ass back to Loserville.
Dallas Cowboys.
Tom Brady.
You're just listen, Gomez. You're just lucky.
Tom Brady.
You're just lucky. Tom Brady wanted to come down and retire in Florida. That's all. You're lucky. You're very lucky.
Anything you have to say about football, Tom Brady?
There's no argument anymore.
There is no argument.
You're at a
Tom,
30-minute interview.
That's what I'm saying.
I think we are.
The greenhorn in the room.
The green.
Just so you know.
We're always
Oh my God. We're always 30 minutes.
Have you seen the janitor?
He's just gonna come get me from behind. Oh shit!
Damien to come tackle.
Yeah, right. Get him out of there. Now you're good. You're good.
All track of time here.
Oh yeah. Hey, always a great time. I can't complain.
Always.
No.
No matter what goes on behind the scenes, you guys can't even tell half the time.
No, yeah. It's usually just Gomez causing, terrorizing us like he always does.
It's always just a wild time.
Or just some psychopaths like King and obviously Vega, who's clearly some type of psychopath walking around. You never know. Like I said, you never know who can show up at GCW. Professional wrestling in general, you never know who can show up. You
really don't.
You really have no idea. You never know. Yeah. So.
Jake, before I let you go, is there anything else that we should know about you before we let you go?
I would say just expect the unexpected when it comes to the back.
We got more distractions.
And here we go, and here's Sky Blue.
Yes,
and here's Sky Blue.
Hi,
Sky Blue in the house. Oh!
We almost had America's funniest home videos.
Yes. No, but I think the number one thing for people to expect when it comes to Jake Painter and just to know in general is to expect the unexpected. This last year, my life has been full of just unexpected, forthcomings and just, learning a lot about myself. And I think, learning more about myself when it comes to wrestling in general is you're only gonna see more of me. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, the backbreaking artist is here to stay in Florida. And throughout the entire wrestling world, I'm here to stay. And I'm ready to break out in the scene and have some amazing matches with some amazing people. I'm really excited. Like I said, I think GCW is the Generation Championship Wrestling.
Generation Championship Wrestling.
Generation Championship Wrestling is on the come up. This is going to be a company that's going to be here to stay for a long time. Like I said, all BS aside, Mr. Gomez does a great job of running this company. Does a great job of putting the show together. Without him, us as workers don't have a platform. So like I said, big time with this company coming up. You're going to see them doing a lot of stuff. Hopefully with me involved. That is the goal there. But no, like I said, the backbreaking artist is here to stay. The backbreaking artist is here to make an impact, and you will be seeing a lot of me, Jake Painter, moving forward here in the wrestling industry. So
that's what I'm talking about. That's why I love coming out, interviewing you guys, because just, you know, right before AEW started, all those guys, Darby Allin, Joey Janela, all those guys were in the independent
And they
scene.
were
Now
just,
they're
you know,
on TV.
PWG guys. You know what I mean? Just, you know, working the indies as much as they can, getting their name out there as much as they can. So, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be that next wave. We're trying to be the next Darby. We're trying to be the next, you know, Kenny, the next Young Bucks who started from nothing and made themselves into something. And that was even without the bigger company. You know what I mean? They did it on their own. So, I mean, that is what, you know, we are trying to do. Get ourselves noticed, you know, entertain you guys for years to come. That's ultimately what we want to do.
Awesome, Jake. Where can people look you up at?
Catch me on Facebook. Look up the backbreaking artist Jake Painter. You can catch me on Twitter at jpaint, I believe 30. I want to double check. Either jpaint30 or jpaint11. You can catch me on Instagram. Right now it's still private. We're working on launching a bigger Instagram for the backbreaking artist, showing more stuff. Also, big highlight company that we work with, Wrestling with Unicorns. You can see me and all my highlights on Wrestling with Unicorns. Literally, I'm on there on a weekly basis. You know, Martin, shout out to Martin. You're awesome, man. You do a great job of recording everything and capturing everybody's moments. So thank you. Please check out Wrestling with Unicorns. That's where you'll see the most of the backbreaking artist, Jake Painter.
Awesome. Yeah, I've seen some of their stuff. I really got to watch a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think they're part of the April 9th event.
I believe so, yes. So they'll be around for WrestleMania weekend. So he'll be here to record highlights from all different promotions across WrestleMania weekend. But most importantly and most especially here at Generation Championship Wrestling, we run this town.
That's what I'm talking about, because it's just 3 weeks away.
It really is. It really just came up on us this year. So it almost, like last year, it was going so slow because it was in limbo. You never knew what was going to happen. You know, now this year, WrestleMania is happening. It's 2 nights. WWE's got a whole week of programming. AEW's got stuff planned. NWA has stuff planned. We have stuff planned. It's going to be an exciting week. I'm looking forward. It's my first as a professional wrestler, so I'm very excited. I can't wait. So it'll be a great time.
Awesome, Jake. Well, I'm going to see you out there April 9th. We'll be out there covering the show as well.
Awesome.
So nothing but the best for you, and good luck tonight.
All right, sweet.
And good luck,
Awesome.
you know,
Thank
moving forward,
Of
man.
course. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Have a nice day.
All right, guys, if you like interviews like this, come over here, Jake. We got to sign off properly. If you like interviews like this with Jake Painter, the back-breaking artist, make sure you stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.